What is up with it? Today we have a 4.3 billion bounty blue Doflamingo versus a 2.5 billion bounty blue Doflamingo for the mirror match. I'm not exactly sure who Yost is, but I've seen them at top of the ladder quite frequently, and I know that they are someone that Impact tests with, so hopefully we can get a good game where we learn quite a lot. Looks like Yost won the rock, paper, scissors and chose to go first. It's pretty interesting. A lot of Dofi players choose to go second. Um, but I don't think it is a huge difference. I think it's pretty close either way. Here we're electing to play the buggy. Um, we don't have to. We already have the teach. We already have Jinbei Boa. But this does allow us to, if they play something on 8, be able to swing into it, right? Okay, so we're electing to keep on top. I imagine the reason we're doing that is because we plan to play Teach or we plan to go um, Jinbei Law. It does give us a lot of different options for what we could do. And yep, sure enough, they are swinging 7 at life. I got to imagine we're going to take this. Attaching the boa just for giggles. Yep, here we're going to go ahead and elect to play the teach. Let's see, what do we want to stack here? I imagine it's the Jinbei. It is possible you could just stack the Law and hold the Jinbei for next turn if you want to get this card. I think we're always swinging at the Boa, and I think we want to stack the Teach here, right? Okay. This is interesting. Okay, so I think the reason we did this is because we want them to swing into the Law, right? Oh, and giving us 2 cards. Pretty interesting to give a 2K, 1K there. Not something that I typically elect to do this early on when you have so few resources. But maybe they know that their game plan is really going to revolve around this Boa. Maybe trying to punish us for not bouncing it. Okay, so it looks like the reason they did that is because they really want to keep this pressure up. And they knew they were grabbing the croc back with this gecko. So this play makes a lot of sense. They basically were able to counter out of an 8K swing for just the 1K counter. So that seems pretty good. We could take this, or we could counter. It is only 1 card. Okay, so taking it. Taking pretty aggressively here versus, they're still at 5. So we're really going to be trying to slow down the pace of this game for the remainder of it, I've got to imagine. Okay, so we know they have the crocodile in hand. Okay, looks like we're playing the buggy, so we're really trying to restabilize here. Next turn, we'll get to play this Jozu. That's not bad at all. I have to imagine we're swinging at the Jinbei here and planning to bounce the Boa. Pretty unusual game so far, honestly. Really, in many ways, feels like Yost is ahead. With these two, with the 2 life, if they can find a way to kind of break through. But this player is keeping the board state pretty clean. It's not too bad. Yost hasn't exploded too hard. But he can go Boa, swing 6, swing 7. So we'll see. I feel like if I was in this player's position, I would just be swinging at life. We'll see what they elect to do. Oh, okay. So did they keep with Boa on top, or did they go to bottom? They put on bottom. Okay, so that 3 stack must have been pretty bad. See, I don't like this 7K swing here. I'd love to hear if anyone in the comments has a differing opinion. But to me, They have so many cards in hand. They have the teach, like they can rebuild the board, and by us swinging 7 here, we're not putting them on a clock. We're not pressuring them. So not something I love to see in particular. And yeah, we're just using this buggy over and over and over again. Don't love what I saw from that stack, personally. Let's see what we choose to do. I gotta imagine we're gonna start making some cracks at life. We already know they have a 2K in hand for the crocodile, so I have to imagine we're never swinging at this Weavile. Yeah, I would like to see the teach effect, because then we can make this a 6K swing rather than just a 5. Yep, put those on bottom. None of those cards were helping us win this game. It goes 2K, 1K. I have to imagine you're planning on countering out of this one too. I would have really liked to see that 7K taken and just having a much healthier hand here. But Yost seems like he's really okay with just playing. He's comfortable being low cards in hand. Doesn't want to run into any pudding shenanigans, maybe as part of it. Which we did have the pudding. That said, I don't know. Even if he had a bunch of cards in hand, I don't know how strong the pudding would have been necessarily, as our board is currently a little jammed. So he's just really trying to swing out at the board. We countered out of the first one. 2K, 1K. We'll take the next one. I'm personally not a huge fan of doing the 8 into the 6 as the first swing. I think you go 7 out of 5 first, see if they give you 2 cards then, and then try and use this after they've given you some cards. But, and I gotta imagine he's bouncing that. I gotta imagine we're letting this go. That's fine. See, this player, I feel like they started off with a lot of, they had a lot of pressure against this player to start the game early. And it feels like they've kind of let that go. I have to imagine we're going to keep this law. We're going to bounce into our own hand. I have to imagine. And we are coming up on a second Jozu, which does get... So do we want to swing 8 at Weavile? I kind of do like swinging here. I normally don't, but because they only have 4 cards, I think I'm pretty okay with it. Yeah, and there we go. It gets through this time. Because really the difference between putting them to 4 and 3 right there, not very large. So for sure, huge board advantage right here, right? We know we have a law. They haven't shown a law so far. Oh, there it is. Or maybe actually, I think we did know about a law in hand. Let's see what he tries to do here. He might be bouncing this boa again. Okay, so swinging really big at this Jozu. Okay, so he really wants this Jozu gone. We have another Jozu coming up. I'm not sure I'm stressing this Jozu at all, especially because double Jozu can feel really bad into a gravity blade situation. So I think I'm pretty comfortable letting this go. But I definitely see merit to protecting it as well. Like, they're so healthy at 4 that I don't think this Jozu getting the 7K swing at this stage of the game is too important. So we could Jozu again, and just make it so that next turn they start the board completely fresh, which I definitely don't hate. We are going to be swinging, you know, we're going to be swinging 9, which feels a little bit wasteful. Maybe we could have honestly gone back to the double boa, but that does feel pretty bad into the pre-established teach with the law in hand. So I think I'm pretty comfortable with this. We give them nothing of huge value to bounce. Um, the turn feels a little cloggy because we had to swing 9, which is not, when they're at 4 life, swinging 9 doesn't feel too good. Turn definitely would have felt a lot better if we had a Sengoku in hand. And right there, just double checking the bounties. Would have felt much better if we had a Sengoku last turn rather than the buggy, because the buggy didn't really accomplish anything, whereas the Sengoku would have gotten the free +1. This 5k swing is actually awkwardly super annoying, because we only have 2ks in hand that we're willing to use at least, right? So he has 5 Dawn left. I'm not exactly sure what he's planning to do with 5 Dawn. Okay, I guess going really wide here. This is getting pretty scary for this player, honestly. Having 4 standing characters means that we're really going to be taking a lot of punishment in the near future. I think a Gravity Blade could be pretty good this next turn. Okay, finding a Jinbei off this Sengoku is pretty nice. I think that's our second one of the game, if I'm not mistaken. We actually can go Jinbei into Teach and then still play 2 more 4s. So we could potentially get a double bounce this turn. And now we are at the stage, once they're at 3 life, where these Jozu swinging 7s is going to start being really annoying for this player. If they don't find like a Gravity Blade. Which Gravity Blade could be really strong for them, right? They played Perona this last turn. So they know the top of their deck. So if they do have the Gravity Blade, they could easily, swing however many bodies they have left. Gravity Blade, leader effect. That would be a super strong turn. Something I would definitely be concerned about. I don't think there's anything you can do to play around it at this point. Besides try and disrupt their board as much as possible. So that way if they are going to go for a play like that. Okay, so going for the Boa. I guess we do not know, I don't think, if they have another law in hand. So we can go double Boa here. Ooh, this is a pretty good stack. I'm wondering how they decide they want to do this. Maybe just play the Weevil, keep the Jinbei for next turn. Yeah, and now we're going to be 5 wide. And they do have 5 swings this next turn, but we have ample counter in hand and 3 life. So we're really not too scared of dying this next turn. Something I would be scared about is if they somehow deal with our board a little bit, like with a Gravity Blade, and then they also really pressure us, I would be scared about us dying the following turn. So kind of hard to say who is going to win this game from this game state. I think it could really go either way, right? Like, it looks really strong for this player at the start of this turn, but that can flip just like that, right? Like, a Gravity Blade would be... I just don't love this swing, personally. It's just... I don't know what sort of options they have in their hand, but, like, I don't know. I'm just not a huge fan of doing that. I'm not sure what win condition we're trying to fulfill by using, an 8k swing on a 6k body there. I really feel like they should be trying to set up for a kill next turn. Oh, they do have the Gravity Blade. That... Am I supposed to believe that the Perona didn't stack for something? And then, Like, you're letting me get away with a 1K here. I'm just not sure. I have to imagine we're protecting this. Oh, with the 2K. Okay. It's so scary to take this. There's no way we can take it, right? Giving them the 2K feels bad. But I get it. We can actually, we're in a position where we can triple bounce. If we can KO a body and then triple bounce the other 3, then we're right back in a good position, right? Really, the Perona wasn't able to stack it, so we were able to leader effect and just go a bunch of 5s, a 6, a 7, clear 2. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Because I think this board is just so much scarier if this is like a real body, right? And yeah, now we can swing 7. At Jinbei, it's either Jinbei or Law here. Yep. Then we're gonna swing 7 in life and bounce the Weevil. Oh, yeah, never mind. We're gonna swing at the Jinbei. Okay. So we just want to KO both Jinbeis. And then we're fine with bouncing their Law because we currently have Teach and they don't have Teach. And this next turn, they only have 1 real swing, right? So at worst, we're going down to 1. They have a much healthier hand than we do here. But we've got a lot more board presence, and we've got, you know, this really nasty combo. Where we might be able to ensure that they only get to get 1 swing off a turn. Still really anyone's game. Okay, the Jozu here, pretty nice. Let's see what they're able to stack here. I imagine it's a Weevil. And this player only has 4 cards in hand, 2 of which you know. So if we're going to swing 8, I really want to see it at the Boa. See, like, we know 2 cards in hand that they don't want to use. I mean, I guess they were thinking they want to bounce the Boa rather than the... I guess that's fine. So here... I want to put those to the bottom. Maybe there's some merit to finding the Gravity Blade there, but... Okay, well, we found it anyway, so it's not bad. I kind of feel like in some ways we really want to bounce this Teach. Just because if they're really, you know, if they're really sick and they try to go for game, they actually do get there if we don't have counter. But a lot of the times they're not going to go for it because they don't know that we don't have it. This is a pretty interesting stack because we could play the Boa or we could just keep the Boa there and we can just bounce the Teach. Which bouncing the Teach also might really disrupt their plays next turn, right? I like bouncing the Teach, especially because we know they have the bounce law. It's just going to make it that much harder for them to bounce everything on our board. And then, yeah, we're just... Oh, okay. We're deciding, hey, you know what? I know some of the stuff in your hand, and I don't think you're going to want to counter out of both a 6 and a 7. Not with the 5-card hand. I don't think you want to do it. And also what this allows us to do is it allows us to bounce the Teach. And then we can replay the Teach next turn when we get that Gravity Blade. Because I have to imagine they're going to spend a lot of their turn just trying to control board. It seems to be what they've been doing. And if they continue to do that and then we gravity blade them, it could hurt them a lot. Really a nail biter game. I feel like there's a lot we can learn from this one. Really complex game. I'd love to hear some people's thoughts if they feel really strongly about, you know, if a certain play should have been done on a different turn. Was I tripping? Did they not have the law? Maybe they countered with it. I think maybe they countered with it. So here they're going to go 7-9. Bounce the boa. Yeah, and then our gravity blade's just really gonna put a lot of work in here, I think. Yeah, so they're gonna bounce our boa. We're gonna be forced to let that go, and then they're gonna swing a 9 at life. Oh, or an 8. Okay, they found a 2K. That's not bad for them. Yeah, we're taking this. A bit scary, honestly. We know we're going to get a 2K off the Weevil. It feels like we absolutely have to get rid of this law. We have to swing into the law and gravity blade the other two things. And even then, if they knew our hand, which they do know what, 2 cards, both boas, they could we go for game? Do we say fuck it? Do we say fuck it, we're never living? Oh, we do. Huh. Okay, so like, let's think about it like this, right? If we go 5 and 7, that takes 1K, 2K, 1K. And then we could still die if they say fuck it and swing these. Excuse my language. And then we for sure die. And we do know a bit of their hand. Like, we have been bouncing a lot of bricks in their hand. I think we know at least a Weevil and at least 1 or 2 boas, right? I'm sure we know quite a lot about their hand, but I haven't been keeping track. Whereas if we go 10-10, it's going to take 3 2Ks, which we do know a 2K. We do know they have 1 2K for sure. But I think we also know they for sure have at least 2 bricks, maybe 3. So if we go like 5 and then 7 and then they counter out, and then we gravity blade these 2, we get to draw into a 2K, and we have just 1 2K in hand, and they still... The Sengoku, I think, really changes things. Them having the Sengoku, I think, means we're forced to go for the 10-10 here. And we'll see if it... And it does get through. Okay, so I guess we only knew 2 cards in hand. I think we just knew the Weevil and the Boa and the Mihawk. So 3 cards. And we needed these last 3 cards to not be 4K counter more. I wish I could see how many 2Ks they went through. I do feel like they went through a lot of 2Ks. I could be mistaken. But they did counter out a lot of early swings. Both players bricked up on the perfume is pretty funny. They had another gravity blade. Maybe it was in life. It probably was. Because otherwise I think they could have maybe just bladed last turn, and it might have been a little bit better than what they did. I'm not sure. But that was a great game, honestly. Please let me know if you think there was anything that should have been done different, if there were any plays that you think were really wrong, anything that I said that you really disagree with. I think that this was honestly one of the better study pieces that we've had on the channel so far, in my opinion. So would love to hear from you guys, and thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day.